Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to start the second chapter of 7th standard, which is nutrition in animals. You have learned in chapter 1 that plants can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, but animals cannot. Animals get their food from plants either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that eat plants. So it is clear from the first chapter that plants are primary source of food for animals and humans, and animals get their food from plants directly or indirectly. Some animals eat both plants and animals. Recall that all organisms, including humans, require food for growth, repair, and functioning of the body. Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body. So, these are the things we learned in the first chapter, and all the living organisms need food to survive and to repair their body cells and the proper functioning of the body. So food is required, and plants are the primary source for food for animals and humans. And this is the you have studied in the class 6 that food consists of many components. Try to recall, so you can recall by one. The component of food such as carbohydrates are complex substances. These complex substances cannot be utilized as such, so they are broken down into simpler substances. So carbohydrate was generated when during the photosynthesis process. So carbohydrate cannot be utilized in that form which it is created. So it is a complex form. So you can see the complex structure of the carbohydrate, and these are the simpler substance. So we can see the breakdown of complex component of food into simpler substances is called digestion. So digestion is the process in which the complex substance is converted into simpler substances. Different ways of taking food. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. Bees and hummingbirds suck the nectar of the plants. Infants of human and many other animals feed on mother's milk. So it is very clear that hummingbird and bees suck the nectar of the flowers, and similarly the human infants, babies, and some small animals also take food from the mother's milk. Snakes like the python swallow the animals they prey upon. Some aquatic animals filter tiny food particles floating nearby and feed upon them. So python directly swallow the animals, and some aquatic animals take tiny food which are in the surface of the water and they feed upon them. So this is an activity. What activity 2.1? What is the type of food and mode of feeding of the following animals? Write down your observations in the given table. You may find the list of modes of feeding given below the table helpful. So this is a table, and name of animals are given here, and kind of food they take and mode of feeding. So you can discuss with your friend, and you can complete this activity, and hint is given here for mode of feeding. Amazing fact: starfish feed on animals covered by hard shells of calcium carbonate. After opening the shell, the starfish pops out of its stomach through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. The stomach then goes back into the body, and the food is slowly digested. So this is a starfish, and it feeds upon the shell which is made of calcium carbonate, and when they feed upon the animal upon the shell, the stomach comes out of their mouth, and when they eat the animal inside organism or animal inside the shell, the stomach once again comes back inside the body, and it is the food is digested inside the stomach. Now we will learn the digestion in humans. Digestion in human: we take in food through the mouth, digest and utilize it. The unused parts of the food are defecated. Have you ever wondered what happened to the food inside the body? The food passes through continuous canal, you can see in the figure, and which begins at the buccal cavity and which begins at the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. The canal can be divided into various compartments. First, the buccal cavity, second, food pipe or esophagus, third, stomach, four, small intestine, 5 large intestine ending in the rectum, and 6 the anus. So you have seen that the we take food from the mouth, and there are this much process of the food is food goes through this compartment, and finally it gets ejected out of the anus. Is it not a very long path? These part together form the alimentary canal digestive tract. The food components gradually get digested as food travels through the various compartments. So it is very clear that when the food passes through these compartments, the food is digested. The inner walls of the stomach and the small intestine and the various glands associated with the canal such as salivary glands, the liver and the pancreas secrete digestive juice. So you can see the liver and gallbladder is here and esophagus is here. So the food when we eat from the mouth, it mixes with the saliva, and digestive juices are secreted from liver and gallbladder and esophagus, which is helpful for the digestion of the food. The digestive juices convert the complex substances of food into simpler ones. The digestive tract and the associative glands together constitute the digestive system. So you can see here there in the diagram of the human body, it is the digestive system. The food passes through here. Here is the stomach, here is pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. So this whole structure is the total digestive system of the human body. Now let us know what happens to the food in different parts of the digestive tract. The mouth and the buccal cavity. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. The process of taking food into the body is called ingestion. We chew the food with the teeth and break it down mechanically into small pieces. Each tooth is rooted in a separate socket in the gums. You can see in the diagram here, and our teeth vary in the appearance and perform different functions according to they are given different names. So you can see these three are the molar teeth, these are premolar, and these are the canine teeth, and these are incisors. So this is the arrangement of the teeth and different types of teeth. And there are two types of teeth. One is milk teeth and the another one is permanent teeth. Do you remember about falling off your teeth some years ago? The first set of teeth grows during infancy and they fall off at the age between 6 to 8 years. These are termed milk teeth. The second set that replaces them are the permanent teeth. The permanent teeth may last throughout your life or fall off during old age or due to some other dental disease. So it is very clear that we have two types of teeth. The milk teeth is fallen during the age of 6 to 8, and it is replaced by the permanent teeth, and these are very strong teeth, and you can see there are four types of teeth. Here is an activity. Wash your hand, look into the mirror and count your teeth. Use your index finger to feel the teeth. How many kinds of teeth could you find? Take a piece of an apple and bread and eat it. Which teeth do you use for biting and cutting, and which one for piercing and tearing? Also find out the one that are used for chewing and grinding. So these are the type of teeth. Number of teeth, lower jaw, upper jaw and total. You can count your teeth with the index finger, and by eating this bread and apple you can write your observation here. Our mouth has the salivary glands which secrete saliva. Do you know the action of saliva on food? Let us find out. So for finding out, this is an activity. Activity 2.3. Take two test tubes. Label them A and B. In test tube A, put 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice. In test tube B, keep 1 teaspoon of boiled rice after chewing it for 3 to 5 minutes. Add 3 to 4 ml of water in both of the test tube. In figure 2.4 you can see. And Now pour 2-3 drops of iodine solution in each of test tube and observe. Why is there a change in color in the rest test tube? Discuss the result with your classmates and your teacher. The saliva breaks down the starch into sugar. So you can see this is the iodine solution, this is water, this is boiled rice, and this is a chewed and boiled rice. So you can find out the observation and discuss it with your classmate. The tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached at the back of the floor of the buccal cavity. So tongue is attached to the back of the floor of buccal cavity. It is free at the front and can be moved in all the direction. Do you know the function of the tongue? We use our tongue for talking. Besides, it mixes saliva with the food during chewing and help in swallowing food. So it is very clear that the saliva mixes with the food and it helps for chewing and help in swallowing the food. We also taste food with our tongue. It has taste buds that detect different tastes of food. We can find out the position of taste bud by the following activity. So before the activity, there is this sweet and tooth decay. So the causes of tooth decay can be find out by here. Normally bacteria are present in our mouth, but they are not harmful to us. However, if we do not clean our teeth and mouth after eating, many harmful bacteria also begin to live and grow in it. So it is clear that we have to keep our mouth very clean by brushing the teeth so that the harmful bacteria does not grow in there. These bacteria break down the sugars present from the leftover food and releases acid. You can see in the chapter 5 to know what an acid is. The acids gradually damage the teeth, and you can see it in the figure. The whole teeth is like this, cavity is beginning here, and the tooth is broken due to the cavity, and the cavity is enlarged here because the tooth is decayed here. Because of the cavity, tooth is decayed. This is called tooth decay. If it is not treated in time, it causes severe toothache and in extreme cases result in tooth loss. Chocolate, sweets, sweet drinks, soft drinks and other sugar products are the major culprits of tooth decay. So these are the culprits of tooth decay. Therefore, one should clean the teeth with a brush or datun and dental floss, a special strong thread which is moved between the teeth to take out trapped food particles at least twice a day and rinse the mouth after every meal. Also, one should not put dirty fingers or any unwashed object in the mouth. So we will see the activity now to find out the function of the tongue. Activity 2.4, prepare a sample of each sugar solution, common salt solution, lemon juice and juice of crushed neem leaf or bitter gourd. Blindfold one of your classmates and ask him or her to take out the tongue and keep it in straight and flat position. Use a clean toothpick to put the different sample one by one on different areas of the tongue as shown in the figure 6.2.6. These are the region of the tongue. Ask the classmate which area of the tongue could better detect the sweet, salty, sour and bitter substances. And now 5. Now write down your observation and label figure 2.6. Repeat the activity with other classmates. The food pipe and esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. You can see in figure 2.2. The food pipe runs along the neck. So here the food is here. We are taking the food. It comes from the mouth and the food is going through esophagus, and from esophagus it goes to the stomach. Movement of food in the esophagus of the alimentary canal. So the food was taken from the food pipe runs along the neck and the chest. Food is pushed down by movement of the wall of the food pipe. Actually, this movement takes place throughout the alimentary canal and pushes the food downwards. So you have seen in the figure, at times the food is not accepted by our stomach and is vomited out. So it is very clear that food is sometimes vomited out. Recall the instance when you vomited after eating and think of the reason for it. Discuss with your parents and teacher. Stomach. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. Its shape is like a flattened J, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It receives food from the food pipe at one end and opens into the small intestine at the other. The inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juice. The mucus protects the lining of the stomach, and the acid kills many bacteria that enter along with the food and makes the medium in the stomach acidic. Helps the digestive juice to act. The digestive juice breaks down the proteins into similar substances. So it is very clear that the digestive process is done in the stomach, and the acid helps the digestive juice. Acid and the digestive juice help the proteins to convert it into simpler substances. The small intestine. The small intestine is highly coiled and is about 7.5 meter long. It is very long coil. It receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. Beside its wall are also secrete juices. So the small intestine has its own juice, secretion juice, and it also takes the secretion from the liver and pancreas. The liver is a reddish brown gland situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. It is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice that is stored in a sac called the gallbladder. The bile plays an important role in the digestion of fats. So in gallbladder, the bile juice is stored and it helps to digest the fats in the food. The pancreas is a large green colored gland located just below the stomach. So below the stomach there is a gland called pancreas, and the pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats, and proteins and changes them into simplest form. So the pancreatic juice helps in digestion of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins and changes them into simpler substances. So here is a case of Alex St. Martin's shotgun wound. So we'll see here the working of the stomach was discovered by a strange accident. In 1822, a man named Alexis St. Martin was badly hit by a gunshot. So Alexis was hit by a gunshot. You can see the gunshot wound. So what happened? The bullet had seriously damaged the chest wall and made a hole in his stomach. He was brought to an American Army doctor, William Beaumont. Beaumont. The doctor saved the patient, but he could not close the hole properly and left it bandaged. You can see it in the figure. It was left bandaged, and Beaumont took it as a great opportunity to see the inside of the stomach through the hole. He made some wonderful observations. Beaumont found that the stomach was churning the food. Its wall secreted a fluid which could digest the food. He also observed that the end of the stomach opens into the intestine only after the digestion of food inside the stomach is completed. So his gun wound helped Mr. Beaumont to see the working of the stomach. In the stomach, some juices are secreted, and only after the digestion of the food, the stomach releases the food to the smaller intestines. The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where the intestinal juice completes the digestion of all components of the food. The carbohydrates gets broken into smaller sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acid. So when the intestinal juice is mixed with this food which is digested, the carbohydrates is broken into simple sugars which is called glucose, fats into fatty acid, glycerol, and proteins which is converted into amino acids. Absorption in the small intestine. The digestive food can now pass into the blood vessel in the wall of the intestine. The digestive food passes through the blood vessels of the wall of the intestine. The process is called absorption. The digestive food is absorbed. The inner walls of the small intestines have thousands of finger-like outgrowths. So there are thousands of finger-like outgrowths inside the walls. These are called villi, singular villus. Can you guess what the role of villi could be in the intestine? The villi increases the surface area of the absorption of the digestive food. So villi is like you can say it is like a it has very large surface area so that the digestive food is absorbed correctly and in large amount. Each villi has a network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorb the digestive food materials. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body. So the absorbed substance is transported by the blood vessels to different organs of the body, where they are used to build complex substances such as proteins required by the body. So protein is generated here. Protein is very important for building of our body. This is called assimilation. This process is called assimilation. In the cells, glucose break down with the help of oxygen. So in the cells, glucose which was converted by the carbohydrates is broken down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. When it is broken, energy is released. The food that remains undigested and unabsorbed enters into the large intestine. So it is very clear. The large intestine is a wider and shorter than small intestine. So we have studied the small intestine was 7.5 meter long and it is about 1.5 meter in length. Its function is to absorb water and some salts that from the undigested food material. The remaining waste passes into the rectum and remains there as semi-solid feces. The facial matter is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called ejection. Digestion in grass-eating animals. Have you observed cows, buffaloes, and other grass-eating animals chewing continuously even when they are not eating? Actually, they quickly swallow the grass and store it in a part of the stomach called rumen. Here the food gets partially digested and is called curd. But later the curd returns to the mouth in small lumps and the animal chew it. This process is called rumination and these animals are called ruminants. So it is very clear. The grass is rich in cellulose, a type of carbohydrates. The ruminants like cattle, deer, etc. bacteria present in the rumen. You can see the esophagus. Here is the rumen and here is the small intestine of the cow. Helps in digestion of cellulose. Many animals including humans cannot digest cellulose. Okay. Animals like horses, rabbit, etc. have a large sac-like structure called caecum between the esophagus and the small intestine. The cellulose of the food is digested here. Okay. The cellulose is digested in caecum and the cellulose of the food is digested here by the action of certain bacteria which are not present in the human. These are only present in the animals like horses and rabbits. Now here is a note of diarrhea. Sometimes you may have experienced the need to pass watery stool frequently. This condition is known as diarrhea. It may be caused by an infection, food poisoning or indigestion. It is very common in India, particularly among children. Under severe condition, it can be fatal. It can take the life of the human. This is because of the excessive loss of water and salts from the body. Diarrhea should not be neglected. Even before a doctor is consulted, the patient should be given plenty of boiled and cooled water with a pinch of salt and sugar dissolved in it. This is called ORS or oral rehydration solution. So this was the explanation of diarrhea. So you have learnt about animals which possesses the digestive system, but there are many small organisms which do not have a mouth and a digestive system. Then how do they acquire and digest food? In the section below you will learn another interesting way of food intake. Feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism in pond water. Amoeba has a cell membrane, a rounded dense nucleus, and many small bubbles like vacuoles. You can see in the figure 2.10 here. These are food vacuoles here, like very small. Okay, in its cytoplasm, amoeba constantly changes its shape and position. It can change, it always changes its shape and position. It pushes out one or more finger like projections, you can see it here, called pseudopodia or false feet, for movement and capture of food. So you can see here is the nucleus, this is the pseudopodium, and food particle ingestion, here the ingestion is taking place, and these are the food vacuoles, and these are the ingested waste. Amoeba feed on some microscopic organisms. When it senses food, it pushes out pseudopodia around the food particle and engulfs it. The food particle becomes trapped in the food vacuole. So it is clear. Digestive juices are secreted into the food vacuole. They act on the food and break it down into smaller substances. Gradually, the digestive food is absorbed. The absorbed substances are used for growth, maintenance, and multiplication. The undigested residue of the food is expelled outside the vacuole. The basic process of digestion of food and release of energy is the same in all animals. In later chapters, you will learn about the transport of food absorbed by the intestine to the various parts of the body. These are the keywords, and what you have learned is given in this small section. Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body. The human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal, secretory glands. It consists of one buccal cavity, second esophagus, third stomach, fourth small intestine, fifth large intestine ending in the rectum, sixth is anus. The main digestive gland which secretes digestive juices are the salivary glands, the liver, and the pancreas. The stomach wall and the wall of the small intestine also secrete digestive juices. So you can remember from the above section. The mode of the feeding may vary in different organisms. We have also learned this. Nutrition is a complex process involving ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Digestion of carbohydrate like starch begin in the buccal cavity. The digestion of protein starts in the stomach. The bile secreted from the liver, the pancreatic juices from the pancreas, and the digestive juices from the intestinal wall complete the digestion of all components of food in the small intestine. The digestive food is absorbed in the blood vessels and from the small intestine, and the absorbed substances are transported to different part of the body. Water and some salt are absorbed from the undigested food in the large intestine. The undigested and unabsorbed residue are expelled out of the body as feces through the anus. The grazing animals like cows, buffaloes, and deer are known as ruminants. They quickly ingest, swallow their leafy food, and store it in the rumen. We have learned that later the food returns to the mouth and the animal chews it peacefully. And lastly is amoeba ingests its food with the help of its false feet and or pseudopodia. The food is digested in the food vacuole. So this chapter is finished here, and we will learn the third chapter in the next class. Thank you.